Alright, a literal equation is an equation with more than one type of variable. So we're used to seeing equations like those on our warm-ups. There's only x's in them, or there's only y's, or there's only p's or q's or whatever. This one's going to have more than one type of variable. Like this first example has an a, an l, and a w. Oftentimes, the literal equations you see are going to be formulas. To solve a literal equation for a specific variable, you solve it normally by undoing operations, using your inverse operations, but there aren't like terms that you can combine. Like in our warm-up, we could do negative 3x minus 6x. We could do negative 12 plus 24. You can't do that with literal equations because it's all variables. So example 1 says the formula for the area of a rectangle is A equals LW. Solve for W. So to get W by itself, this is L times W. What's the opposite of multiplication? So we're going to divide both sides by that variable that we don't want. We are dividing both sides by by L. L over L cancels, so you only have W left. And on this side, you just rewrite this. You don't do anything fancy. You just rewrite A over L. So your width equals your area divided by your length. W equals A over L. And this is your answer. You've just manipulated the equation so that W is on one side and those other variables are on the other side. Okay, number 2, this one's tricky. The one you're going to see on your test is more like this one. This is just see if you can do it. The formula for finding the area of a trapezoid is area equals 1/2 times your height times the sum of your bases. Solve for h, so this h is what we want to be by itself. So, first, I like to get rid of these fractions, just like we solve equations, we like to get rid of the fractions. It's 1/2 times h times something else. It's 3 different terms being multiplied. So to get rid of this 1/2, we're going to divide both sides by 1/2. Dividing both sides by 1/2 is the same as multiplying by 2. Dividing by 1/2 is the same as multiplying by 2. 1/2 times 2, this is your commutative property of multiplication. There are 4 numbers being multiplied. I'm going to pick to multiply these 2 first. You get 1. Then 1 times h times b1 plus b2. And then this side is 2 times a. So you're not multiplying everything by 2. You're multiplying 2 times 1/2, which is 1. And then you do 1 times h, which is h. And h times b1 plus b2 is what you're left with. This is h times some number. That number is b1 plus b2. To get rid of this number that you're multiplying by, what's the opposite of multiplication? So you're going to divide the whole side by that term. It's grouped in parentheses as a term by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by b1 plus b2. These terms cancel. You're left with h equals 2a over b1 plus b2. So we're just solving the problem and writing down the variables as they come.
How do you do that?
You try these 2. This one's hard and tricky. It will make more sense when you try it on your own and you figure out what you're doing. So this one solved for r. Everything's being multiplied. To get rid of multiplication, you divide. This one's solving for w. Get rid of this term first with subtraction, then divide by 2.